Okay, it's a little bit late, but it's never too late to share a great recipe. So I'm gonna be making my mom's beef empanadas. They're made a little bit differently. They're not made with the thick dough sometimes that you can find. My mom was born in Puerto Rico. She's no longer here with us, but she's here in spirit. But I wanted to share this recipe. It's another request from my husband. He's having a little get together with his friends, a little poker party. And this is another recipe that he asked me to make. So the ingredients are 2 pounds of ground beef, 1 cup of diced, small, like diced or chopped onions, about 6 small cloves of garlic. This is jalapeno. I'm not going to be adding that quantity. It's about a heaping tablespoon, but I'm not going to use it. I tasted one of the jalapenos and it's a little bit too spicy, so I'll just add that to taste. About 1 tablespoon of Badia. It's a brand here that's, I think it's pretty much available in lots of places. I know you can definitely get it on Amazon, but it's called Sazon Completa. It's just a complete seasoning, and you can see it has bay, garlic. What else does it have here? Bay, garlic, I don't know, parsley or whatever. Then 1 packet, I might end up using 2 packets of Sazon Goya. And this, it says con culantro and achote. So culantro is also known as like wild cilantro. The leaves are longer. The leaves are longer than and kind of spiky. It's just a distinct flavor that if you are familiar with the food of like Asia, some of the more tropical Asian countries or the Caribbean, you would know the flavor. But this is just a dry seasoning, and this is also a product that's just going to add color, a little bit of flavor. I've got 1 can of El Pato. By the way, El Pato sauce is the first sauce ever to be that's made in America and imported to Mexico. So that's a fun fact about El Pato. And this is, they have 3 colors of El Pato. This is salsa de chile fresco. So that means salsa of fresh chilies as opposed to dry chilies. Also, Goya brand, or any brand really, Spanish stuffed olives. This is an optional ingredient only because I know so many people don't particularly like olives. And some tomato sauce. I'm not exactly sure how much I'm gonna be using. An ingredient that is gonna go in here, and I just don't have it out, is cilantro. And that's another thing like olives. So we have somebody coming over tomorrow, one of my husband's very best friends. He is not a cilantro lover, so I'm not gonna add it to the main mix. I am gonna add it at later on tomorrow when I start putting this mixture together. I'm getting it done tonight because I want all the flavors to get together, and I want, you know, everything to be cold because I am going to be filling this into a wonton wrapper, a wonton skin, and I want to make sure that it's not hot and it has its like shape. So let's get to the pan. I've got my my pan preheating, and the first thing I'm going to do is add the beef. Where's the beef? Here I am. Shout out to my grandkids. My grandkids are my #1 fans. They're probably my only fans. Love you guys. All right, let's get to cooking. Okay, so beef is in the pot. My beef was 2 pounds of organic ground beef, and I had it at room temperature, so I didn't want it to stop cooking. And if it's at room temperature, it's easier for it to break down without turning into clumps. So I'm gonna keep breaking this down. You know how you do it. There's that little tool. I don't have it. I don't have that tool, but it seems handy. I just do this. Break it all down. Break it all down. Break it all down. right, we're gonna break it all down and then I'll show you the next step. But just so you're prepared, the next step is gonna involve the onions and the garlic. So I'm still going. I'm literally just breaking this up. Judy. Judith. Hello, my sweet angel. It's my adorable cat, Judith. All right, let me show you guys Judith. All right, I'm just gonna let this cook. I'm gonna pick up Judith. I'm gonna give her a big pat, and then I'm gonna wash my hands. I'm gonna get back to this. Judy, you're so pretty, Judith. Are you helping me cook? Judy, can the people see you? Judith, are you shy? Can you give me the kisses? Okay, Judith isn't feeling it. Please, Judy. You have a beautiful profile, Judith. You have the face of a queen. Oh, yes, you do. What a sweet girl. You're my sweetest girl ever. Okay, how cute is she, right? Oh, shoot. All right, this is just going to cook. I want all of this liquid to cook down before I start adding my onions and my garlic. We're not too far away. It doesn't have to be totally dry, but you see there's still a lot of liquid in here. And it's broken up as much as I care to break it down. I mean, as I continue cooking it, I'll just give it, you see like a little piece of meat that looks a little bit too big. You can break it down. It's 11:20 in the evening. So that's why it's a little bit dark. And my refrigerator is blocking my light. There's always something. Okay. So just keep letting it cook. And then we're going to add the onions and the garlic. And the garlic that you saw was just smashed down with my knife. But I'm actually going to push it through my, my garlic press before I put it into the pot. So FYI, I mean, you could chop it with your knife, but I like to put it through the garlic press. All right, next step is, you see most of the liquid is evaporated. I'm gonna add the 1 cup of onions. And then I'm going to just mix that in. Let that cook in. And then I'm going to start pushing my garlic through the garlic press right into the pot. Okay, so I've got the onions and the garlic in. I'm just gonna put, I don't even know, just a little sprinkle of these jalapenos. Very, very small amount. Again, if you don't want to add this, you could just easily replace this with black pepper or nothing. You don't have to add it. An optional ingredient. I like having the taste of that jalapeno. Rare Seeds has a wonderful product called the Nada Peño, I believe. And it's a variety of jalapenos that don't have the heat, but have that delicious signature green chili flavor. All right, next thing I'm going to add is the seasoning. You hear the pot, it's getting quiet, it's getting loud. And that just lets me know that all that water is evaporating, which is great. Everything's sauteing together. The garlic's in, the jalapeno, and the onions. The badilla, sazon completa, the complete season is in, about a tablespoon. We are going to adjust this with salt tomorrow and pepper if needed. All right, and then I'm going to add the packet of that red color, and then we're going to start adding our sauces. Okay, I've added that cilantro with our chote. Tomato sauce, I'm going to start with about half of a can. And this is a 8 ounce, I can't see, yeah, 8 ounce can, so about 4 ounces of tomato sauce. If you added tomato paste, just, maybe a tablespoon. Mix it all in, cook that down. We don't want it to be wet. We just want it to be really fragrant and highly seasoned. Okay, I've added the rest of that 8 ounce can, and I'm adding 1 more tablespoon of that Badia Sazon Completa. Okay, the pot is still super loud. That's just quieting down a little because of that tomato. You see that it's still very dry mixture. We'll look at it once it comes off. And now I'm going to add about half of the can of the El Pato sauce. So I showed you in the beginning about all of the sauces when I was explaining the ingredients. So these are the 3 flavors of El Pato sauce that they have. They have the jalapeno one. This is an excellent sauce. All of them are wonderful. This is tomato sauce with jalapeno, and this is the salsa de chile fresco. So they all have their unique characteristics. They are interchangeable within this recipe. You could add like literally a tablespoon of each, 2 tablespoons of each. I'm just gonna do 1 right now, and like I said, I'm gonna add about I'm gonna start with 1/3 of this sauce, and then we'll see where we are at that point. Look at how pretty. Okay, so I've got this container. Hold on, let me see the light. So I've got this little container. I am horrible. What do they call it? Spatial relations. I don't know how to find the right dish. Hopefully it fits. I had other ones, but of course I probably picked one too small. Maybe I'm getting better in my old age. All right. That's how it looked. It will firm up. It'll cool down. And like I said, tomorrow morning, I'm gonna let this sit uncovered for a little bit until it's not so steamy and not so hot. And then I'm gonna cover it. I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator, and we will adjust its seasoning first thing in the morning. Let's see, you think it'll fit? Could I go any slower? Hold on. Whoa, I think it might, especially if I squish it down. Yeah. Look at me. Look at me doing something. No, maybe not. I'm gonna have to squish. All right, hold on, let's see. See, even though there's not a lot, I think it won't fit. All right, let's see. I think that's it. That's it. I did it. I did it. I did it. All right, that's it. Looks nice, looks seasoned. Tomorrow I will make some without the cilantro. Then I will wash, soak, and get all my cilantro. I might do that tonight. I doubt it. It's pretty late. And lots going on in the world. I want to watch a little bit of world news. So I may just leave it and then just get up in the morning. I have to do a little marketing in the morning. I'm going to probably just leave my cilantro. I like soaking my leafy herbs like that, other than sage and maybe tarragon. I might not leave it in there as long, but like parsley, cilantro, leeks, green onions, I like to give them a good long soak in the trough, if you will. All right. So I'm gonna leave that in there, and then I'll prep that, and then I'll add it to the mixture after we've seasoned it. And like I said, I have one cilantro hater coming, but my mom would not have omitted it. She would have just added it right to the mix. And other additions you could add are fresh tomatoes, There's something called sofrito that's very popular in Puerto Rican cooking. One day I'll do a sofrito recipe. I think my aunt, Titi Gladys, is coming into town this year, so we'll do some Puerto Rican cooking if she comes in. But you guys are gonna love her. So that's it. Good night. See you in the morning. You love how I say good night and then I'm back. So as this was sitting, and I was just looking at it, you know, you can see little bits of fat. You don't have to remove every little bit, but I certainly got enough out. I mean, a lot out. And you just let it settle. I don't want to do this with one hand because I don't want all my meat to tumble out, but this is just another little step to kind of get that out. I mean, fat is flavor, but this is going to be deep fried, so you don't want, you know, too much fat. It's already gonna have fat, but for right now it's okay. You know, if it looks a little bit too fatty tomorrow, you could always, or I could always, add just the tiniest little bit of potato starch or cornstarch to it into the mixture while I'm seasoning it, just to make sure that when it hits the fryer, it's nice and like homogeneous and it doesn't leak out in an oily type situation. But that's just another little additional tip. You will have that. I didn't drain my ground beef. It was very lean, but I wanted to show you that. So I think this is at least, this is a 1/4 cup. So at least it's a good tablespoon and a teaspoon or something like that. All right, good night for reals now. So I had an early morning. I'm back from my marketing for the day, and I've got my parsley soaking in water, the first water. I've taken out the large stems. These are some really huge parsley stems. One of the beauties of living in California. One of the small advantages. And then I have my lemons, which I will also soak at some point. And here's my cilantro. So I just let it soak in cool water because again, these leafy type herbs tend to have, even if they're organic, tend to be exposed to a lot of, you know, residual, I don't know, dirt, pesticides, God knows what. But if you soak them, it removes a lot of it just in simple water. So I'm gonna drain this. I took the stems off of the parsley. I will eventually stem the cilantro for the empanadas. And I will put some of the parsley for my non-cilantro eater. So that's how I'm gonna substitute that. But I've got some seafood and other things to prepare today. And I don't know how much of that I'm gonna record, but we'll see. Have I said too much about washing all of this? I've already washed it, and I really shouldn't even have rinsed it again because it was at the perfect point of drying. But what I wanted to say is there was a ton of dirt, even though I had changed the water 3 times, and I gave it a good rinse, and I put it in my colander. I can't say enough about, you know, this cleaning process. Aside from the grit, a lot of times it looks so clean and fresh from the farmer's market, and you just give it a big rinse, but you really shouldn't. I mean, I just recommend all of the drying. So hold on, let's clean this out. I'll move that to the side, and then I'm gonna show you my cilantro. I have not rinsed or washed that out yet. I mean, I've done the water changes, but I want to show you how much dirt is actually in it. All right, this is my cilantro water, even after 3 water changes. You can still see like grit and dirt. It's just amazing how much these herbs will produce, especially parsley. I mean, let's not even talk about spinach. So here's my cilantro. After all of that, we just wash, and wash. We don't want to, abuse our water. So I'm not a water waster, but I certainly do want to make sure this is clean. So then the next thing I will do is I will transfer that into a colander and then give it a fresh rinse under the tap. Hold on. Looky, it's our meat from last night. These things have like 4 grippy things. I only have 2 hands, so I'm gonna get my fork. I'm gonna empty all of this out into a bowl. Hopefully you took that extra step last night and drained it. And now is when we are gonna adjust all of the seasonings. I'm gonna make a test sample for my husband. And this is when we do everything we have to do. And that's going to probably include, which I know it is gonna include some onion powder, some garlic powder, salt, probably more of that badilla completa, possibly another packet of that sazon, the Goya powder that made it red with the annatto and culantro. And then I have my cilantro here and my parsley. So I'm gonna do, before I add any of the herbs, we're gonna release this from its little container into a big bowl so we can fully incorporate everything. But this is how it looks the next day. That's why it's important to have this thing marinating overnight, because now we have the prelim seasoning. Okay, moved it to a big bowl, so I have plenty of room. Plenty. Break it up. It's just like it's almost under frozen. My refrigerator's a little too energy efficient. All right, I'm gonna add some onion powder. Now you can add freshly sauteed onions. The only problem is I'm going to fill this into a thin wonton skin and I'm trying to reduce moisture. But if you are so inclined, go on ahead. Just make sure that you're careful about how much liquid you're introducing to the mix. Or when you fill the wonton or empanada dough, you might run into a situation. This is garlic powder. I always add a little less garlic powder for, so if it's meat, I use more onion, and this is something I learned from Penny Keaton. You can follow her on Instagram. She's a master pie baker, American master pie baker. And she grew up in the Italian tradition, like Swiss Italian tradition, but she said for meat, it's always onion and basil, and for fish, it's oregano and garlic. So that's just a general rule. Of course, I mean, rules are made to be broken, but so for meat type, even if I'm using a little garlic, I will use a little bit more onion just to compensate. Now this is all optional. It was flavorful as it was, but I like to refresh all my seasonings, and like I said, I'm refreshing it with dry seasonings because I don't want to introduce any more liquid. As it's coming to room temperature, you can see it's looking a little more lively. It's very cold. I just put this in this really big bowl, this gigantic bowl, and it's like the sides of my bowl are already cold. All right, I'm gonna get the badilla, and I'm gonna get the sazon Goya. All right, another tablespoon of that Badilla. 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 Sazon complete seasoning. And I'm also adding another little pouch of this, guys, of that annatto with culantro. If you didn't want to add this, don't. I think I'm still gonna have to modify this with a little bit more salt. The badilla does not have a lot of salt. It's mostly just dehydrated herbs and aromatics. So it doesn't add a lot of salt. Now, because so little filling is gonna go into each one, you want it to be a really delicious bite. I'm gonna make a couple for my husband as a sampler. And I might end up adding a little bit more of that yellow El Pato sauce. I didn't add the whole can last night, so I may add a little bit now. But again, I don't want to introduce moisture, so I'm going to try it without and see how it goes. All right, so here's my small batch with the cilantro. It's actually going to be the largest batch. I think everybody else, besides one person, like cilantro. I have not added the additional El Pato sauce, but I might. This is definitely gonna boost this. I could certainly boost this up with more olives. I'm not going to. I love olives. I mean, I could have an olive in every bite, but it's just a nice little surprise. Or not surprised if you don't like olives. But that looks good. All right, so I've done nothing except for add what you saw, the onion powder, the garlic powder, the badilla, and I think I'm going to taste it now. I'm gonna get a tasting spoon and I'm gonna taste it for acidity. And I may just add a little vinegar powder to this. All right, why lie? I was gonna add acid anyways. It needs that perk.
You know when there's something you see every day and then when you want it, you can't find it?
Mm-hmm. All right, I got this vinegar powder. Another way to add acidity, you could use citric acid if you wanted to. This is much milder than citric acid. It's certainly dry enough at this point where you're not in jeopardy of adding too much liquid. I mean, you can be quickly, but I could just see the texture. It still looks fluffy and flavorful. I used to add, well, me and my mom used to add a little bit of the olive juice, and it adds a wonderful flavor. But you know, more and more, I think people are adverse to olives. If you're not, I would add a little bit of, like yesterday when I was cooking it, I would have added more olives. You could also add capers, would be wonderful in this, and a little bit of olive juice. But you know, you have to know your audience to make something like that work. That would give you a more authentic type flavor if you did that. But this is still as yummy, or we'll see. I'm gonna, like I said, we're about to roll one up. All right, I added a tiny little bit of parsley because I am gonna add that to the one that doesn't have the cilantro. But just building flavors. Okay. Last thing is to do is adjust for salt. Guess who's back? El Pato. All right. I'm still gonna need salt, but I'm gonna add about a tablespoon.
All right, I'm gonna take a dip. I'm gonna take a nap.
All right, sorry about that. My husband's announcing his intentions of going for a little swim and taking a nap. Must be nice, right? Right, let me taste this. Tasting spoon. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I knew it. That little bit of El Pato did it. I'm gonna put tiny little bit more. When you start off with that nice like meat, it's not too wet, then you have, look, it's still enough moisture. I mean, it was dry enough and moist enough, really, but still could absorb a good, you know, tablespoon and a half of sauce and still not interfere with the frying process. The addition of the parsley was really special. It just brightened it up, and then you get that nice cilantro, herbiness, that mintiness, that aromatic, some people might say soap flavor, but I disagree. All right, let's make an empanada before Sleeping Beauty goes to sleep. Alrighty, this is it. I am using, instead of those thick empanada wrappers, this was what my mom used. She used wonton wrappers. She was a registered nurse, and she worked with a lot of Filipino nurses, and they taught her the pleasures of a nice thin kind of a meat thing with lumpia. So anyway, that's what we're using, and that's what makes these empanadas one of our guests' favorite things. They always request. I'm using an egg wash, and it's just a lightly beaten egg. You can certainly use water. I added more olives. So this recipe is just an idea, like all recipes are. It's not a formula. I put a little wax paper to help the thing out. I'm gonna move this out of the way. God, it's such a beautiful day. It's 81 degrees currently in Southern California, and clear skies with a nice, beautiful breeze. All right, I'm gonna flip this over. This is the part you have to be careful with. So I like to quickly join the edges and then push the air out. Okay, this is a better angle. Get that filling in, push the air out, and then try to kind of get these aligned. It's not that important at the edges. And then push the air out. The reason we want to push the air out is because once it hits the hot oil, which I've already had on heat for about 10 or 15 minutes, is because if that air pocket builds, you're in trouble. It can pop on you, and the whole thing can open up and explode. Mostly it can pop on you. The egg wash is basically gonna seal it, but I like to go in and just do that extra precautionary seal. There are tools for this, but it doesn't work with the wonton. So if you have like an empanada crimper, I don't know, if it works for you, good for you. All right, let's try this one more time. Get the edges going and then pushing firmly down, squeezing out the air. Now I feel a little bit of my meat trying to pop out, or my olive. Push, push, push. If a little comes out, all right, that's gonna be problematic, but we'll see how it goes. We will see how that goes. See, this is not ideal, and that's because I'm filming. So with my hands, I could have controlled that a bit better if I had both hands free, but this is not a loss. It's fine. I mean, it will present problems, but not as bad as you think. And there's, you could try to correct it just by sealing it lightly with your fingers or a little water or something, but I don't think it's worth it. Let's just do it. All right, I'm taking it to the oil. Okay, behind me, I just have a plate with a whatever spider or simmer. Don't overcrowd your pan. I put the more volatile side up, this guy with the little hole. I'm gonna turn this over quickly. Just brown a little, and then I'll be careful to turn it back because it does have that little hole in it. I don't want to contaminate my oil, or B, create a situation where my oil is popping on me. Mostly B, I don't want to create a situation with my oil popping on me. All right. We don't want the oil too hot because one, it's gonna brown the wonton too quickly, and we need it to heat through the filling. It's more ideal to have the heat or the filling at room temperature. Mine is not completely at room temperature. Are you ready to try one of these?
Yeah. I had a purple light bulb.
Okay.
Yeah, I checked.
All right, we're gonna get into trying now. All right, here's how they look. I'm just gonna put them on a little plate, and my husband will try them. We'll see what he wants, or if he wants to serve them with an additional sauce. Like I said, this is just gonna be for his poker party later on. And I'm building all the fillings and getting it going. You do not want your anything fried to sit on a paper towel. This just came off, so I'm quickly gonna transfer this onto just a dish for him to eat. It's a little hot, but by the time I put it on the thing, he sits down and tastes it, it should be ready. Let's see if I can get a reaction out of him. Do you want some of the taco sauce we got from the taco place?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna take it just like this. Missing something.
What?
I don't know.
The only thing it could be missing is bell pepper.
There used to be something else in there.
What? Sofrito, but we don't have that.
Still good.
You're just saying that because I said I forgot the recipe. I guarantee you. What could be missing?
I don't know.
Sofrito? I mean, but I don't have any of that.
Tastes
and
good.
Bell pepper.
Tastes good, but I
Could it be all
one.
in your mind?
Might probably in my mind.
Are you saying it's under seasoned? Are you saying it's perfectly seasoned, but there's a flavor that
I'm
you're
saying it's
longing
perfectly
for?
seasoned.
Mm-hmm.
I taste all those flavors, great flavors in here.
Mm-hmm. There's cilantro, so there can't be that.
This one, I think I just got to bite something good in here.
No. It's probably olives. I went easy on the olives. And
I think that's what it is.
The olives? But everybody doesn't like olives.
This one has olive.
Yeah, I put extra olives in yours. But I put them just in like one bite, kind of.
This one. They should all be like that. That's it. That tangy, that zip, zoom. In the back over here. Yeah.
But everybody doesn't like olives.
That's their problem. If they don't like it, you know where they can go?
Taco Bell?
Yeah. Oh, the olive. There it is.
Olives? All right, well, there it is. I guess because I normally
that second
add
one was
olive
good.
juice. I normally add olive juice too.
The second one is good. The first one was just like kind of like.
They were the same. No, I was just the first one was all in your mind.
There's those glands in the back when that good stuff hits it just salivates.
So
the second one hit it.
So you're saying it lacked acidity?
I have to slurp my mouth right now.
It lacked acidity.
Maybe. And you know me, I'm an acidity guy.
Boy, I'll tell you, some people will have you ready to sharpen those knives. All right, well, here it is. I'm gonna add a little bit more of this olive juice. See what I mean? I think he was just missing that flavor, but not everybody enjoys that. Again, a lot of memories are attached with the recipe, so another reason not to make this too wet. All right, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna put some more sliced pimento. What are these called? Spanish olives stuffed with mixed pimentos. I'm gonna add a bunch more for this particular batch. I still have the batch that only has parsley and just a few of those olives that I put into the original mixture. I'll separate them and I'll make sure that my husband gets the one with plenty of olives. So that's it for now. This might be the end of the video. I'm gonna go ahead and just fry one more up just so he can taste it with the olive juice and just see if it was something that he was thinking about. Wait, one last thing. Here's all the mixture I have, which is at least over a pound. Over a pound of the one that doesn't have cilantro, just an olive or two, some last night, and parsley. So I also added, when I was seasoning the one with the garlic powder, onion powder, I added all of that already. I also added the additional black pepper and Badia complete seasoning and an extra packet of the Goya with culantro and achote. So that's all in here as it is. Here's another weird, it looks way redder in person. Hold on, let me see if I can auto-correct the color and make it look more like how it looks. All right, I don't know why it doesn't look as red as it looks. Anyway, this looks really, let's see if I bring it by something that's red, if the color will look a little redder. I don't know. All right, so we'll give him one more and see how he likes it. All right, I added all of that thing. I added all that olive juice. I added a ton more of the sliced pimento olives. I added a ton more cilantro. You wanted to add even more acidity to this. Our family is very acid forward due to me, because I'm the primary cook and I like my food to have enough acidity, but here we are. Let's try it out. Let's see. All right. This is fun. Let's see. See, this is a recipe at work. I'm sure olive hater or cilantro hater would think this is ruining it. And that's why a recipe is only a guide. Okay. Let's see if I could get a little bit more filling in this. I wish I could just fill it all with filling, but unfortunately it will burst. Hold on, let's see if I could take a little bit out of this. Put a little in here. Get this guy going. All right, you already saw the method. I'm gonna try to just, well, let's see if I could manage to do it. Just push out. Isn't that pretty? Okay, push out. Air. God, there's such a wonderful breeze coming through my kitchen window. It's lovely. It's distracting a little bit. All right, let's see. And then I need my fork. I'm gonna feed him in the pool. That's always fun. I think he's already in the pool. I think he's already in the pool. So I was born in the 70s, and I remember the LA weather being just like this. Thank God our weather's coming back just a little tiny bit. It's so wonderful. All right, I'm taking this back to the fryer. Wait. This will matter, even if you like squeeze through a little hole and if there's a little meat stuck in there, you just don't want a gaping. You're thinking I just made a gaping hole, right? And you would be right. Not bad for somebody with just a phone and a camera. All right, I'm gonna take it to the fryer now.